Someone is standing at your door right now, badge in hand, official looking, claiming they're from the government and they need to come inside. Here's what almost no senior knows. There is one kind of visit where a closed door will not keep them out, even if you refuse, even if you say nothing. And there is another visitor, badge and all, who has absolutely zero legal right to cross your threshold. By the end of this, you'll tell those two apart in under 60 seconds, and you'll know the exact words to use at the door when it matters. If you want the real rules explained plainly, subscribe right now. It's all built around helping you protect yourself and the people you care about. So, who is actually knocking on seniors' doors? 3 groups. The first is law enforcement. Sometimes a routine knock with no warrant. Sometimes something called a welfare check. And I'll come back to that welfare check because it's the one that catches people off guard. The second group is people claiming to represent a government program. Medicare, Social Security, the local housing authority, saying they need to verify something in person. The third group is the most dangerous. It dresses up as the first two. Scammers impersonating officers and government officials using fake credentials, specifically targeting older Americans living alone. This is general information, not legal advice. Confirm your situation with a qualified professional. Now here's the foundational legal rule. The Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution says you have the right to be secure in your home against unreasonable searches and seizures. In plain English, this means that in the overwhelming majority of situations, nobody, not police, not a government employee, not anyone, can enter your home without your permission unless they have a valid warrant signed by a judge. A Sacramento Police Department spokesperson confirmed this directly to local media. You are not required to answer the door when the police knock. Legal experts across the country say the same thing. Silence and non-engagement are completely lawful. You do not have to open that door for anyone. There are exactly 3 situations where this protection does not apply. First, if officers have a valid warrant, either a search warrant or an arrest warrant, they have the legal right to enter. If you don't open within a reasonable time, they can force entry. But you do have the right to see the warrant before you open. Ask them to hold it up to the window or slide it under the door. Read it. Second, what's called exigent circumstances. An actual emergency. Someone hearing screams, smelling smoke, witnessing a crime in progress. Genuine crisis, not a claim of one. Third, if you are on probation or parole, different rules may apply depending on your state. Outside of those 3 situations, you are completely within your rights to keep that door closed and say nothing. No penalty, no consequences, no follow-up punishment. That is the entire point of the Fourth Amendment. Now, here's the exception that catches people off guard, and it matters more for seniors than for almost any other group. So stay with me. Picture this. You missed a regular Sunday call with your daughter. She can't reach you by phone. She's worried. She calls the police and asks them to check on you. Officers arrive at your door. They knock. No response. What happens next? Here's what the law actually says. If officers arrive for a welfare check and receive no answer, they may enter without a warrant if they have a reasonable belief that someone inside may be in danger or in need of urgent help. The U.S. Supreme Court has addressed this directly. The principle is sometimes called the community caretaking exception, and it was designed precisely for situations like a senior living alone, a fall, a medical emergency, an absence that something feels wrong about. So never open the door is not an absolute rule. The welfare check is the one carved out exception. Here's the practical answer. It's not complicated. If officers at your door identify themselves as responding to a welfare check, someone called because they were worried about you, the smartest move is simply to answer. Step to the door, confirm you're fine, and that's the end of it. 10 seconds. Done. Outside that specific scenario, here's what actually happens if you simply don't open your door to someone who has no warrant and isn't there for a welfare check. Nothing. If they had a legitimate reason to contact you, an official notice, a legal matter, anything formal, it will arrive by mail, proper envelope, return address you can verify. That is how legitimate government agencies communicate. A closed door in those situations is not defiance. It's your constitutional right. Have you ever had someone come to your door claiming to be from Medicare or Social Security? Maybe with a badge, maybe with paperwork? Write it in the comments. Tell me what they said and what you did. I read everything, and your story might help someone else watching this right now. Now let's talk about the people who absolutely should not be let in, because they're not who they claim to be. Government impersonation scams targeting seniors have exploded. The FTC received more than 330,000 complaints involving government impersonation in 2025 alone, a 25% increase over the year before. The SSA's Office of the Inspector General has issued repeated warnings in 2026 about scammers using fabricated badge images, fake employee names, and increasingly convincing fraudulent credentials, all aimed specifically at older Americans. And here is the single most important fact I'm going to give you today. The one thing that instantly exposes the most common door-to-door scam. Medicare does not have door-to-door representatives. Period. Full stop. This has been confirmed by state attorneys general across the country. If someone shows up at your door claiming to be from Medicare, claiming you need to verify your benefits in person, or that you need to switch plans right now or lose your coverage, that is not a Medicare employee. That is a scammer. Full stop. Legitimate Medicare communication happens through official mail or through calls you initiate yourself to 1-800-MEDICARE. Never through an unannounced visit. Never. The same principle applies to Social Security. The SSA does not send representatives to your door to verify your identity, your benefits, or your SSN in person. If someone tells you your benefits will be suspended unless you hand over information immediately, or that there's a problem with your account that requires an urgent in-person fix, that is the exact script scammers use. Word for word. Real government agencies do not manufacture urgency and demand an immediate in-person resolution. They send written notices. They give you time to respond. That gap between urgency and paperwork, that gap is where the scam lives. One more thing worth knowing. Scammers are now using AI tools to make their approach more convincing than ever, including cloned voices for follow-up phone calls, and official-looking fake documents and badges that can be difficult to distinguish from the real thing at a glance. So the badge itself, even if it looks completely convincing, proves nothing. Anyone can buy a laminate badge holder online. So here is what you actually do. At the door, in the moment. Step 1. Don't open immediately. Use your peephole, a window, or a video doorbell if you have one. See who's there before you do anything else. Step 2. Speak through the closed door. Ask who it is and what it's regarding. This protects you completely while still letting you gather information. Step 3. If they claim to be police, ask whether they have a warrant. If yes, ask them to display it through the window or slide it under the door. You have every right to read it before you open. Step 4. If they say no warrant, you are not required to let them in. You can say, through the closed door, "I'm not available right now. Please leave anything official in writing," and end the conversation there. Step 5. If they claim to represent Medicare, Social Security, or any government benefits program and want to come inside, remember what you just learned. This does not happen. Say clearly, "I don't open my door to unannounced visitors regarding my benefits. If you have something official, please mail it." Then close the door. Step 6. If they push back, threaten you, demand money, or insist you need to act right now, that is confirmation. That is the scam revealing itself. Call your local police non-emergency line and report it. If at any point someone becomes aggressive or you feel unsafe, call 911. And if you need to report a government impersonation attempt afterward, you can contact the FTC at reportfraud.ftc.gov or the SSA Office of the Inspector General at oig.ssa.gov. There is something worth sitting with before we close. The people running these schemes are specifically targeting seniors who live alone, not because those seniors are naive, because the scammers are betting that nobody has ever told them the rules. That's their entire business model. The gap between what you know and what they're counting on you not knowing. You just closed that gap. One more thing to keep in mind going forward. The door is just the beginning. These same scammers often follow up by phone, with a voice that sounds official, paperwork that looks real, and pressure that feels urgent. The rules for that scenario are the same. You verify through official channels. You call back on numbers you look up yourself, not numbers they give you. Protecting your door is step 1. Protecting your phone is step 2. Subscribe if you want the full picture. And share this with someone in your life who lives alone. A neighbor, a parent, a friend. Because the people who most need this information are often the ones least likely to find it on their own. They'll thank you for it.